Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the Isle of Man in the UK. This is John and Mike's MMA Corner.
I am John. Would I call you the president, CEO, the owner? What would I give your? What would be your title before I start anything?
What's that, sir?
What would be your title with Valor Fights?
I'm the CEO and matchmaker.
There we go, CEO and matchmaker. There we go, Mr. Loy. Thank you very much for joining me. Now you are having a show on just before Valentine's Day. I am more than certain that every man who's fighting on that card, who has a partner, does not like you very much for making that fight, because last thing they'll want is their boyfriend or husband to come home with a black eye.
No doubt.
I could just imagine them all thinking, really? Did you agree to fight? Yeah, I did, hun. You better win, and you better not get punched in the face, you know. But yeah, you've got a fight. Right. You've got a fight card coming up, sir. Before we get started, can you tell us a bit about the promotion, about yourself, and just give people at home listening a bit of an insight into you?
Yeah, the promotion, we're the longest running promotion in Tennessee. We've done more pro events and more events period than anyone. I would venture to say combined even. We've just started really growing a lot in the past year. We've really kind of started to step up our game with production and just higher level fights and bringing in top level athletes from all over instead of just focusing on the Tennessee and surrounding states. So we're excited about the direction that we're headed, and we've got a deal with UFC Fight Pass on the table that we should be finalizing here in the next couple of weeks. I'm under non-disclosure until they announce it, but that is going to happen.
Well, the thing is, that's another huge thing for you, because it seems like the UFC are obviously taking on board a lot of promotions. It seems they've obviously doing Brazil, they've went up to Russia, then in the States they're taking a lot. It helps them as well, obviously, but at the same time it really helps promote yourselves, because the exposure that they can give you with by being on Fight Pass, it's huge anyway.
Oh yeah, it's tremendous. We go from being as it is, we air locally on television here in our region on Fox, and we do a pay-per-view on our own website. But that doesn't reach outside of the United States, and so this gives us a platform to literally be seen worldwide.
Do you think, obviously, then now with this, when the deal obviously goes through, that this will bring in bigger names for you? Do you feel like you'll probably get more people interested in signing up with you because of the exposure they'll get with a Fight Pass backing them up? Yeah. There's no doubt. There's we wouldn't be able to get this type of exposure this quickly any other way. It's crazy, and you know what? It is very useful. It's good to see it happen, because I imagine before any of this happened that, like you say, you've been around for a long time. You're starting to build things up. It was a very slow process, because the regional scene, you have to be very careful with how you run the shows, how you book them, and the placement of it all. It's a very delicate situation.
You're right. It's kind of like it's always a calculated gamble, and you have to try to minimize your risk as much as you can. But at the same time, to grow and to build your brand, you still have to take some risk, and so. You're right. It's a very delicate process. You have to keep your show within the confines of your budget for a regional promotion, while at the same time, kind of putting your neck out there and reaching out a little to build the promotion above what it is.
So this year, 2016, how many shows are you looking to have on then? How many are you looking to aim for?
Last year we did 18. This year we're probably going to scale back just a little bit. I think we'll be around 14. But my goal is to make it to where we just have, badass shows every time. Not to say that any of our shows weren't good last year, but we had a few shows that were, just smaller scale, all amateur events that were just in smaller towns. And so this year I think I want to just focus on, just kind of blowing it out of the water every time.
Well, that's the thing, yeah. If you can, like I say, you can pack it down a little bit. You can make sure that each event is a blockbuster. You can pack it out a bit more. And like I say, the all amateur things. It's great that you've done all amateur shows. It really helps the amateur scene because obviously a lot of cards on the regional scene are pro and pro-am. So you get half and half, so to speak. Like I say, in the UK, there is a promotion out there that just does all amateur, doesn't do any pro fights, and it's good that it helps the amateur scene because it's really taken off. The level of skill in the amateur ranks, it's really starting to push itself. Where if you put the amateurs of today in the pro ranks, say 10 years ago, they would have fared very well. Very well.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. The sport as a whole is just evolving every day, and to the level of these amateurs, like you said, 10 years ago, these guys would be very, very competitive as pros and beating a lot of pros from that era. And now I think just early guys are starting to do MMA, not just karate or not just jiu-jitsu or not just wrestling. They're starting to do MMA as children. So like you're saying, North Cuts and these guys that are essentially just groomed from the very beginning. Whereas up until this point, the sport just hasn't been around long enough for anyone to have really just been brought up in the sport.
So what brought you into it then? Why are you there? Why are you in this situation? Why are you in this position? Because it's not a position everyone has in the world, and it's I love MMA, but I've never thought about that. Running a promotion or being a matchmaker. It's never came to my mind. So how did it happen for you then?
It's actually kind of an interesting story, I guess. It's several years back, I was in my first marriage as an unhappy marriage, and I was essentially just reaching out for things to spend my time, and occupy myself. And this was in 2009, I believe. So MMA had just been legalized in Tennessee. We've only had legalized MMA here for about 6 years, and so at the time, the XFC was they're based out of Tampa, Florida. They were coming to Knoxville, Tennessee, and it was going to be the first ever, sanctioned event in the state of Tennessee. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe the first sanctioned pro event. But anyway, they came to the Thompson Bowling Arena, which is where the University of Tennessee plays basketball, huge venue, and they were doing their show for Access TV. And I reached out to John Frisco, the president of that company at the time, and essentially just introduced myself, and I knew they were based out of Tampa and coming to Tennessee for the first time, so I offered my services as someone on the ground up here in the region that knows the region to help promote the events and help with street teaming, just anything I could do to help, essentially just to occupy my time. And so I spoke with Mr. Frisco at length, and he sent a guy up here that worked with me for the whole month before the show. And essentially just kind of showed me the ropes of promoting the streets and doing the grunt work, the entry-level stuff, the posters out, flyers, the very entry-level stuff. And I worked their cage door for that first event, just closing the door for the cage, and I thought I was up it. But anyway, I worked with those guys for a few shows when they were coming to Knoxville, and then they went some other directions and did more shows in Florida and just other regions. So I started looking for local promotions to work with, and I met a guy named Gene Clegg who was running a promotion. Actually, I didn't meet him. I actually went to elementary school with him. We've known each other since we were like 5 years old, but we've kind of fallen out of touch, for about 20 years in between. So I re-met him, and he was doing a promotion called the 3FC. I came on at that time just essentially as a assist, just help him in whatever manner I could, help with filling some holes on in fights. And he wasn't really interested in being the matchmaker, so after a couple of shows there, he brought me on as the matchmaker, and he was the promoter. And I matched for 3FC for 2 years, and then finally Gene brought me on as a 50-50 partner in that business. And then after about a year of that, Gene kind of got burnt out on promoting MMA. He owns his own gym here, and he's got to grow his family, so he wanted to take some time away from MMA to focus on his business and his family. which kind of just left it all for me. So we changed the name to Valor Fights because the 3FC was kind of Gene's baby. You know, he'd come up with that. So we changed the name to Valor Fights, and I took over everything. And now I'm matching it, promoting it, everything. I've got a great team, though. I've got a lot of good people around me. I wouldn't be able to do it without them, that's for sure. I have a hard time keeping up as it is, and those guys make it a lot easier.
That is a great story because it shows you, in a sense, you worked from the bottom of the way. You know, you've been around all the areas. You've touched base basically on all the different areas that need covered and looked at in this perspective of a promotion.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. Yeah, I literally started from about the lowest position that you could start in the MMA world.
And do you know what? I think that's an invaluable thing to get, because some guys who jump in and own a promotion, they've not done any of this stuff, so they don't know what exactly is required. So if you've got already knowledge of that, you can relay that onto someone and help them grow. And if they've got idea, they can talk to you about it and you understand it. I think that's a great little thing that you've got there, a great little skill set.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You know, I agree, actually. You know, there's every position that we have, I have done at some point, so I can bring people along that don't have experience and kind of show them the ropes, and all the way down. I mean, I still go out and street teams now. Yeah, I'm not the only one. I have people that help me do it, but I thought beneath me to go out and put posters up, you know, and hand out handbills and things. I'm still doing that. So, and it's kind of like I'm a bit of a micromanager because I won't rest until I know something's done. So it's kind of like I might as well just be out there helping do it, because otherwise I'm just going to be wondering about, you know, what's happening without me.
I think we should get Dana White out putting posters up. That's, you know, I mean, just keep him humble. Keep him humble.
Yeah, right.
That would be something.
No,
good.
Man, I've announced. I've helped put up the cage. I mean, you name it. I've done about everything that you could possibly do. But get in the cage and fight. I've not fought.
Oh yeah, you got to do like maybe a fun charity match or something then.
That's been tossed around, believe it or not. That would probably sell a lot. There's probably more people wanting to see me get my butt kicked.
Yeah, get someone like, I don't know, Butterbean or Bob Sapp, get him in. Yeah, just have a charity match, still fun.
Yeah, right.
Man, hey, look, it sounds like you've kind of got your T's crossed, your I's dotted, because you've got this kind of knowledge already, and the success that obviously that has proven already because of this deal that's going through. It seems that you're onto a winning formula for 2016. What's the kind of goal for 2016? Are you looking? Obviously, you said about the shows. Are you looking to do anything particular to kind of not put your own niche on the market? But is there anything you're looking to try and do?
You know, I think my main goal for 2016, once we get this distribution deal ironed out, you know, I think my main thing is to get as many guys to the UFC as possible. That's my goal, is to get, you know, I won't set a number, but my goal is to put several guys in the UFC this year, and essentially, you know, get the word out to people that there is an avenue to the big leagues, you know, through Valor Fights, you know, and our region is so young. Like I said, we've only had legalized MMA here for 6 years, and honestly, the pro scene here has really only when we legalized MMA, amateurs was the prevalent. Most people did amateurs because everyone was just starting. Essentially, there were some guys, some pioneer type guys that were going off to other states and competing, but for the most part, you know, 90% of the people were just starting. So for the first half of those 6 years that it's been legal, essentially most everyone has been amateurs, and so we really just kind of started developing the pro scene here over the last couple of years, and I think we've got some legit prospects that could definitely, you know, hang in the UFC, and I think that we'll start seeing those guys make that move this year. That's our main goal, is to be a good platform, you know, for guys to move on to that top level.
Well, that's what is great, if you can give the guys the platform, because as well with that deal, people can watch their progress from your show to the UFC, and it's also something great for you, because people will go, oh, he came from that promotion. Oh, if I get on that promotion and if I can win the title, etc., I can defend it. You know, that can push me up to, that next level, and it's great for you then, because it kind of feeds into yourself as a promotion.
Oh, absolutely. It's great if we can get those guys to the next level, and people see that they're getting looked at, fighting for us by the big leagues. Then that gives us a sense of pride and accomplishment. The more that we can send there, that are products of our region.
So, 13th Feb, next card's up. What kind of fights should we be looking forward to? What kind of fights are going to be on this card for people to get excited about? Obviously, people who are going to go and watch the show. Is there names that we should maybe be keeping an eye out for in the future?
Sure. We've got, essentially, we're working on 3 events right now. We've got February the 13th, February the 27th, and March the 19th. And all 3 of those cards have got, a couple guys, or, more than a couple guys that are good, legitimate national prospects. And I think that, the first one, February the 13th, our main event is Nick Gertz against Stephen Hague. That's 2 lightweights from this region that are both, grappling phenoms. They're both, very good on the ground. They're both, Gertz is probably a little bit more well-rounded, but Hague is just a jiu-jitsu phenom, and he wins all the grappling tournaments around here, the black belt divisions. That's the main fight on that card that I would watch out for. And we're also doing partnering up with the UMMAF, which is it's an amateur sanctioning body. They're putting on the only true amateur national championship and world championship this year, and so our event for February 13th is a qualifier for the southeastern region of the state. The winners would go to the national tournament in Arizona, so that would be another good chance for those guys to get some big exposure out west. And when they win there, they would be on Team USA, which would compete at the World Championships in Las Vegas, which is part of the UFC Fan Expo. So that's another kind of cool thing for the amateurs to get to strive for, kind of straying off base, I guess. But for February the 27th, that is kind of like my crown jewel for the first part of the year. We've got 2 pro title fights on that card, Sidney Wheeler and Justin Fisher. That's 2 of the top middleweight prospects in the Southeast. Sidney Wheeler could be one of the top prospects in the nation. He's only 3-0, and he's only 19 years old, but he is something else. He didn't take any amateur fights. He never had any amateur fights. He just turned immediately pro, and we've done nothing but throw him to the wolves over and over, and all he does is winning. He's just got all kinds of accolades, multiple times state high school wrestling champion, world Muay Thai champion, national champion boxer. He made the Final Four to the Olympic boxing trials. So he's got lots of accolades, just not in MMA. So Sidney Wheeler, that's one to keep an eye on. Justin Fisher's his opponent. He's from KMAA in Knoxville. He's taking over in St. Preux. He's one of the more entertaining fighters that we've got on our roster, and he a great show. He's 7-2, I believe now. So he's another guy that's kind of on the radar. Those guys are going to fight for our middleweight title. And then we've also got in our co-main event, we've got 2 main events. We'll call them both title fights. They're both main. Jesse Grun, who's another product of our region. He's taking on Felipe Portello, who was on the last season of The Ultimate Fighter with American Top Team versus Black Zillions. So we'll be bringing the Black Zillions up from Florida for this one. Kind of another step that we've taken in bringing in just top level teams, and kind of getting out of our only bringing in the teams local. We're bringing in teams from all over now. That's another real big fight. And then of course in March we've got Adam Townsend on the card, and that's a guy that came up through our promotion, and he's an RFA fighter now. He's going to get to take a fight locally for us in March, and he's going to be main eventing against an undefeated guy, Nathan Manis. So that's another one to keep an eye on. And Adam's one of the guys that is really kind of a real good example of a guy that he came up in the amateurs with us. He fought. He was the first pro fighter that we signed exclusively, and he's a real good example of a guy that just come up through our system and has done really well.
Hey, it sounds like there's a handful of great names there to look out for. It sounds like when this deal gets through, I personally can sit down and tune into it as well, which is what I'm looking forward to more than anything. The fact that I can actually watch the fights and tune in and kind of watch them kind of watch these names, and even, you know, if hopefully your backlog history goes on to there as well, I can even go back to watch fights if I miss any. So that's something to look forward to as well. That's what I like about this deal, because we all have lives. Sometimes I can't watch the fights live because it's on at 4 a.m, and sometimes I like my sleep, but because obviously being in the UK. But yeah, I look forward to this, and these like say there's fight cards there. If I were to want a ticket, how would I get a ticket? How would I get a hold of it? How would I get there?
We're selling tickets right now for all the shows are on our website, valorfights.com. You can order tickets from there, or you can order tickets also through globalmmatickets.com. That's another online ticketing site that we use, and they'll have tickets for all of our events. And you can also check out the event pages on Facebook, Valor Fights 30, Valor Fights 31. That's the two events in February, and that's got all the details on door times and fight cards and all that good stuff.
Awesome stuff, because obviously people at home who are listening to this in the area, in the region, I do suggest you do go and watch the local show, enjoy some fights, watch them live. Just the atmosphere alone is what gets it going, you see, so be a part of it, be a part of this promotion, helping it grow. But before I let you go, can you give us your social media stuff for obviously the promotion and yourself even, and stuff like that?
Yeah, sure. On Facebook, Valor Fights is our page. We appreciate all the likes we can get there. We're also on Twitter at Valor Fights, Instagram at Valor Fights, and myself, Tim Loy. I'm on Facebook myself. If you want to add me, there's a few of me out there, I hear. But it says that I work at Valor Fights, so you should probably be able to find me.
Look, Tim, I'm sure everything's going to go fantastic, and I'm sure when this deal kicks off, things are just going to keep growing and exploding for you. I think the exposure, you'll hit the global market. It's going to be exciting times, 2016. What about your sponsors that at the moment that are helping you out with with your shows?
Yeah, I'd like to always thank our biggest and best supporters are Ogle, Elrod, and Burrell, the law offices of Ogle, Elrod, and Burrell. My good friend Jason Burrell, attorney there. Those guys have been behind us for about 3 years now, and they've been a huge help. Also, Kim Bell at Hogs Upstairs Tavern, Fracture Fightwear, Corporate Clothing, USA. Also, Chips Transmissions, Spastic Signs, and Gooder Labs. Those are several of our, and Matt Tatter Tattoo Studios, Martin Shaw. Those are our main sponsors. We have some more that float around here and there from show to show, but those are the ones that have kind of been with us for the long haul.
Fantastic. Hey, look, every one of them sponsors, I want to say thank you to them, because they are helping regional promotions and helping them. That's huge. It's a big part of the sport that help out. And last but not least, do you want to give a shout out to some of the backroom staff that maybe that help you out, that don't get a mention in? Usually it's the CEO and the fighters. Do you want to give a shout out to any names?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a large team that makes this whole thing go around, and I'd be remiss if I didn't thank my wife, Jamie Lee, first and foremost. She's probably got the hardest job of all, just dealing with me. There's a lot of moving parts here on these events, and I stay busy, and so she's very understanding. Thank her first and foremost, but also my right-hand man, Cody Quinn. He's my jack of all trades. He's kind of my catch-all. He's kind of what I used to be with Dean whenever I first started coming up. So he's got a lot of potential in this business. But Cody Quinn, Tiffany Jenkins, Shamir Peshawar, Mark Laws, Marty Willis. These are the guys that are just they're my aces, and without them we wouldn't be able to keep growing like we are.
Hey, it looks like everyone's pulling together, and it's worked so far. It's working at the moment. Look at the deal that's happening. It seems that you've got a fantastic team. Look, I look forward to when Fight Pass is signed up to tune in to watch them, because obviously I don't have Fight Pass. I have Fight Pass, sorry, but I'm not local. I'm not down in Tennessee, so I can't go to watch anything live. So I'll be looking forward to watching the fights live when they are on Fight Pass.
That's awesome.
And Tim, thank you very much for your time. I wish for you to have a fantastic 2016. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're in the area, get tickets to watch it. If it when the deal gets done on Fight Pass, watch it on Fight Pass, give them support, follow the fighters, I'm sure, and hopefully I'll get to speak to some of the fighters that are on that card, and I'll introduce you all to them, people. So, again, Tim, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a great 2016. Thanks so much for the support. Take care, man.